The Galactic Council's weapons exhibition had devolved into barely contained mockery the moment the human delegation unveiled their contribution. Ambassador Jennifer Walsh stood stoically beside a simple wooden table displaying an assortment of what humans called firearms, while representatives from 43 species struggled to contain their amusement. "These are your weapons," chittered High Counselor Vextai, his insectoid mandibles clicking in what passed for laughter among his kind. "Primitive chemical propulsion devices." The Zephyrian delegate, General Karath, gestured dismissively with one of his forearms. "Our plasma cannons can vaporize a target from orbit. Your guns require physical projectiles and direct line of sight." "How quaint." Dr. Melandris, the distinguished Arcturian physicist, adjusted his ocular enhancers to examine the weapons more closely. "Fascinating from an archaeological perspective. Do you still use stone tools as well?" Ambassador Walsh remained silent, her expression neutral as the mockery continued around her. The other species had good reason for their amusement. The Thraxian energy weapons could punch through starship hulls. The Nexary gravitational disruptors could fold space itself into a weapon. The elegant celestial particle beams moved at near-light speed and never missed their targets. And here were the humans, presenting devices that hadn't fundamentally changed in centuries. Metal tubes that used controlled explosions to hurl small pieces of lead. "Perhaps a demonstration would be appropriate," suggested Counselor Zethera, her crystalline features refracting the chamber's light in patterns that indicated polite condescension. "So we might better understand these historical curiosities." Walsh nodded and picked up what appeared to be the simplest weapon on the table, a basic pistol. The laughter gradually died as something in her demeanor shifted, the casual confidence of someone who knew exactly what they were doing. "The beauty of human weapons," she began, her voice cutting through the chamber's suddenly tense atmosphere, "isn't in their complexity. It's in their reliability." She raised the pistol and fired. The sound was unlike anything the assembled aliens had ever heard. A sharp, explosive crack that seemed to bypass their auditory systems and strike directly at some primal fear center. The energy weapons they knew hummed and whined. Plasma cannons announced themselves with a building whine. Even gravitational disruptors gave warning with their reality-bending distortions. This was different. This was instantaneous violence made audible. The target, a military-grade composite designed to withstand energy weapon impacts, simply shattered. Not disintegrated with exotic particles or folded out of existence with spatial manipulation. It broke apart in the most fundamental way possible, kinetic energy transferring through solid matter until the material failed catastrophically. The chamber fell silent. Walsh set the pistol down and picked up a rifle. This one fires rounds at 3,000 feet per second. No charging time, no energy signature to detect, no exotic particles to trace. She paused, letting the implications sink in. And it works in any environment where basic chemistry functions. The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably as the human continued her demonstration. Each weapon was simpler than their own advanced systems, yet something about them felt fundamentally wrong. Dangerous in a way that transcended technological sophistication. "Your plasma weapons are impressive," Walsh continued, now holding what she called a shotgun. "But they require advanced manufacturing, rare elements, and complex maintenance. They could be disrupted by electromagnetic pulses, disabled by system failures, or rendered useless by environmental conditions." She fired the shotgun. The sound was even worse than the pistol, a thunderous boom that made several delegates flinch instinctively. This weapon was manufactured 200 years ago by a human named Thompson. It has never required maintenance beyond basic cleaning. It would function perfectly on any world with an atmosphere, in any temperature above absolute zero, and through any electromagnetic interference you could generate. Dr. Melandris cleared his throat nervously. "But surely the limited range and accuracy make them impractical for modern warfare?" Walsh smiled, an expression that suddenly looked far less diplomatic than before. "You're thinking like civilized beings. These weapons weren't designed for civilized warfare. They were designed by a species that spent millennia perfecting the art of killing each other with whatever materials were available. The chamber's temperature seemed to drop as she continued. Every human learns to use these before they can vote. Every human world has factories that can produce them from scrap metal and basic chemicals. Every human soldier carries one as backup, not because they expect their advanced weapons to fail, but because we never trust anything more complicated than controlled explosions and ballistics. The demonstration ended with a weapon they called a machine gun. The sustained roar of automatic fire echoed through the chamber long after Walsh had stopped pulling the trigger. No one was laughing anymore.